Good evening, everyone. This is Shaun and
Lindsay,
just
the
doing our
better,
here.
the one who's always right.
We're trying these new little boxes out here too. I don't know if that's going on, but we thought it looked cool, so we're going with it right now. Anyway, we decided to do a live tonight before tomorrow's show, which we're going to talk about this incident that's kind of taken the Easter weekend over that happened in Pearl. Is that right?
Pearl, Mississippi, yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that with the child.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
making sure, just making sure.
with the alleged child predator. Is that right, Lindsay?
I don't think it was alleged.
Well, I think right
pretty
now,
much admitted to it.
well, right now it's an allegation. Obviously, that's
He's guilty.
not been a. Don't get us sued, please. You're saying that. I'm not saying that.
He's guilty.
Okay. Anyway, the allegation of the alleged child predator or whatever you want to call it is I think his name was Hector Custode. Is that correct?
Look, I don't know how to say his last name. His name was Hector, and he's a child predator.
Okay. And so Mr. Custode had apparently engaged what was purported to be a 15-year-old girl on Tinder. Is that right?
I believe they met on Tinder. Now, the conversation went to Snapchat pretty quickly, and which immediately this alleged victim let him know that her age was 15 numerous times.
So initially, the victim or the fake victim, it's not a real person, and I'll get
It
into
could
the legality
very
of
well
that.
could have been. Very well could have been.
Right, I understand that, but for this
I'm finding mad. Y'all can see this now.
but if we stick to the facts. The facts are that it was not a real 15-year-old girl because that's
Right.
a lot of confusion out there. I've seen that on social media. Like, was there a real 15-year-old?
No, there was not.
So there's a story about this grandmother that saw, like, none of that ever happened. That's not true. This is a completely fictional person.
Right. Yes.
So, like,
you're right. You're correct.
Yeah, it's a fictional person that was made up by a group called
Preds versus Prey.
right, and they do this around the country. They set up would be child predators, molesters, whatever you want to call it, right?
They're on seven different dating apps. Which now some of these you have to agree that you're at least 18 years old. So that's when a lot of times these predators will see or say that, hey, I thought they were 18, I thought they were 20, whatever. But as soon as they enter or match with someone on these apps, these dating apps, they automatically say, hey, I'm 14 or I'm 15. Usually it's 14 or 15 that they say. And these assholes, I mean, I can't even say what I really want to say, continue to engage with these, what they think is a young girl, underage girl.
And so that is, and just to set this all up, so that's what apparently happened here with Mr. Custode, who is an employee of a local car dealership, and one of the gentlemen, part of this organization, his name's Bryce, went in and set this up with the fake girl. He was talking to Mr. Custode. I don't know how long those conversations occurred.
Over a month.
And they got really steamy and heated, talking about sex and all this, about as graphic as you could get.
Pretty graphic.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Custode had asked to meet up several times, which is what
at least 4.
And for the purposes of any potential prosecution, that's part of the statute that they have to entice to a meetup. I believe that's right. The statute number is 97-533. I don't know if we're going to look that up.
Nobody cares about that.
But I think it's important for people to understand that, like, because there's been a lot of questions about, is it illegal if you're trying to set up a meeting with a fake woman minor for sex? And yes, it is. It is illegal now. It used to not be. That statute was amended in 2007. So now it is illegal to do that. Even if it says if the law enforcement officer or undercover operative are posing as a child, it's in the statute.
Which this would be someone posing as a child.
Correct. And so then that's not a defense to prosecution. So basically,
thank God.
Yeah, so basically, like, the law enforcement can make up a fake person, pretend to be a young child, and talk to somebody like Mr. Custode, and that is still the same. You still can be prosecuted for enticement.
And here's my point. Obviously, we need law enforcement doing more of this, pretending to be fake children, exposing these child predators who are obviously out there. This was too close to home for me. I myself, my oldest child is 15 years old. And Shaun, you have a great relationship with my 15-year-old daughter. You know that I would literally have someone's head on a platter had this been my child. Like, I'd go to jail for the rest of my life gladly.
And I think that's the kind of the the dispute in the community right now, because there's like positives and negatives of the situation. I think that's where everybody's kind of debating that. Like I think everybody agrees that the positive is that a child predator was exposed.
Absolutely.
I think we can operate under that premise. That's a good thing. That society benefits.
You can't just operate under that premises. This is a good thing. People now know that this guy is seeking to have sex with minors.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Disgusting.
It's a good thing that he was found out. The dispute that I think Lindsey and I disagree on this issue, but I mean to a certain extent at least. The dispute is the methods of it and how that came forward. What happened at the car dealership and those, and that's kind of you've seen the debate on social media in the last few days about that. Which has been interesting. I think you got half the community taking one side, half the community taking another side. And
I think you got mamas who care about their children taking one side. There is one less predator out there that we don't know about. Period. End of story.
One that you know about.
That now we know about.
My issue with it is I'm fine with these groups setting up the chat, like the fake chat, like saying that like the fake girl and setting these guys up and collecting that information. I think that's good for them to do that. But my issue is the encounter situations, and that is where I think it can get out of hand, and that they're not trained for those situations, and other people could be hurt. That's my consideration.
But do we see law enforcement doing this here in Mississippi? Do we see law enforcement setting up these stings and going in and exposing these people? Because I have not seen them.
Yeah, I mean, the Attorney General's office got a unit that does this.
They're more worried about prosecuting Capitol Police who are innocent. So I don't.
Well, they are doing that. I mean, I'm totally against them on that aspect. Of course, we're talking about the indictments of Michael Bonneville, Stephen Frederick, and Jeffrey Walker. Totally against them, what they're doing there. But they do have a unit that does do this. It's something that they do. They're all trained to do it very well. Now, obviously, they're not catching everybody. We know that. But we do have a law enforcement unit that's specifically dedicated to doing this.
Well, this is not the first person in Mississippi that this group has caught, by the way.
Right.
There was another man in Greenville, Mississippi, which is one of the first guys they caught at a movie theater with a 14-year-old who he thought to be a 14-year-old going to see Inside Out 2, which is a cartoon movie, who was arrested on scene.
Well, I guess that's what you take kids to, cartoon movies, right?
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
So I think that has been some of the, is the debate. Like, at least from my perspective, I'm fine with what they're doing in terms of setting these things up. I think that's good. I think they should set them up and hand their investigative files over to law enforcement to do the actual encounter, because the situation that happened at the car dealership could have gone another way that would have been dangerous to people there and to Mr. Bryce. What's his last name? Walker?
Well, I mean, I don't know that I'm really going to give his.
Well, I think he was on the interview. I mean, like I saw a news interview with him. So.
Yeah,
But in Bryce, so he could have been killed. Other people could have been killed because he's not trained in those aspects. That is my problem with it, from that perspective.
And I understand that.
Yeah, that's where I think that those groups can. And there's been plenty of examples of violence occurring with. I'm not saying this group, other groups around the country. It seems to be a consistent thing where there's violence that happens when they do these encounters.
But when these groups have this information and this evidence, that they go to law enforcement and are given the cold shoulder, or they just don't care, they don't want to do anything with it, then what? Are they supposed to sit silently back and say, hey, we're not going to expose this person, or let people know that they're letting their underage children around a sexual predator who is capable of doing something like this, if law enforcement will not get involved because they have met that?
Yeah, and I think that's obviously a problem.
A big problem.
Right, and there should be some kind of check-in system. I mean, maybe if Lynn Finch is, when she's not prosecuting cops, maybe they can set up something for these groups to come to the place like the Attorney General's office or DA's offices or whatever, and have a check-in system with the actual prosecutors and see what evidence they have. Do they want to hand that off to an investigative authority? And some sort of thing where all this stuff is logged in a manner of that. I think that would be a good idea to have some kind of process for that. What I don't is then these groups saying, well, I'm going to go off all vigilante and then somebody gets killed. That's
use that term.
Well, I mean, that's essentially what it is. I think that portion, not now, I'm not talking about the investigation when they're creating the fake woman minor and luring the guy and talking to the guy. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But it's the encounters that can become, and it have been. It's not like I'm just making this up.
It was okay for Luigi.
I mean, whatever. This has happened on. I mean, you can say it, but you can't deny that this has happened. It's gotten violent on other occasions. I mean, it has. It's out there. The information's out there. It's gone wrong before. I'm not making that up.
No, I'm not making anything
know.
up either.
So, I mean, I don't see where any, like, is, I guess you would have to do what you're saying is like, it's a risk reward kind of situation, maybe.
Well, right. You have to weigh the benefits versus the risk. And you do that with everything when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to vaccines, when it comes to a drug that you take for a certain problem, is you're always supposed to weigh the risk versus the benefit. So if you have a state or a attorney general's office or a police department or a sheriff's organization that's not doing anything about the information you give them, then when do you step in and say, hey, we're going to expose this no matter what?
Well, I think, yeah, that's a dilemma. I agree with you. If I'm the organization that I've set up this guy, like let's say Bryce here set it up, so he set up Mr. Custode, right?
Mhm.
He set that up, and then he tried to take it to, which he didn't do, by the way. That's not what happened here, and we can get into that too. But if he took it to the Attorney General's office or the Wayne County Sheriff's Department, and they said no, we're not going to do anything. Yeah, that's a dilemma. I agree that's a because you're like, hey, I know about this child predator. Aren't you guys going to do something about it? That makes a dilemma, and I think that issue should be fixed somehow. But the problem I have here is he didn't even do that. He did not even go to a law enforcement and discuss it with them at all.
But hold on, let me come to his defense here. I feel like he has been met with so much opposition to that in the past 9 months that he has been doing this, almost year that he has been doing this work. I feel he's been met with so much opposition from the police departments that he feels like he can't go there and get the support he needs.
But
to do it that
he's
way.
also been not met with all. You told me about
Well,
some
yeah,
arrests.
well, yeah, actually, see, he's got like 7 arrests now, one conviction, and granted, it has not even been a year that he's been doing this. He's got a conviction.
And so that's good work where he cooperated with law enforcement. So he's had times where it's worked for him to
Mhm.
work with.
And they are now working with him more because they are now starting to respect him more because of the work that he has done.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly, and we're going to talk to him tomorrow. He's going to call in on the radio show, and we're going to have him live. And I completely defend his work because I just feel like there is one less person out there that I know is not going to be targeting my 15-year-old daughter who lives way too close to home for me to feel safe.
Well, but I mean, but if this instance is not, if he's had positive interactions, he's had negative interactions, positive interaction with law enforcement. You'd agree with that?
Yeah.
Well, then I mean, I think you should at least try to contact the AG or try to contact the Wayne County Sheriff's Department, something like that. I think that would have been a positive step to do that instead of just to go in all their buck wild. Like,
Well,
that's my issue.
sometimes though it happens to come on a day like Good Friday, this past Friday, and when you've got I want to say what would be a victim who he's
What-
pretending to be. No, hold on, let me finish. When you're this pretending to be this child, and you've got the predator wanting to meet, and you can't stall them. Sometimes you're going to ruin that connection, and you need to do it right then. And if there's not anybody there that wants to work the case at that point in time, what are you supposed to do? Just let them go? Just let them continue to be a sexual predator in the area, or do you expose them like he did?
You just said he'd been talking to this person for a month, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why didn't he do it a week ago?
I think that you wait until you have enough.
Well, I mean,
Evidence.
when was enough? Does he know what enough evidence is? Does he know what the law is? Like, those
I don't know the time and date of the messages that were sent. What I do know is the messages that were sent were freaking disgusting.
Okay, well, I'm just asking from a legal perspective. Did he have evidence a week ago that would have been enough?
Well,
for
that will
him
have to be a
charge?
question that you will have to ask him tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I will because I mean, I would assume. I'm guessing he pulled Mississippi statutes to make sure he in line with that, right? Is that what you asked him that too?
I mean, I know that he aligned. I mean, you've pulled up the law. You've posted the law today.
Sure.
This means it doesn't matter if it was a fake child or not.
Correct. Absolutely.
If you are a disgusting human being like Hector,
I'm asking
because he's a
you're saying-
disgusting human being.
I understand that, but you're saying that it was like an exigent circumstance. I'm saying why couldn't he have done it a week ago? Did he meet the factors to be able to?
And that's what I'm saying to you. I'm not sure. I don't know when exactly the messages were exchanged that became vulgar enough to warrant coming to Mississippi. He lives in Arkansas, coming to Mississippi and actually going into a place of business and confronting a man. But what I do know, the way he did it exposed him to a degree that now every single mom and dad out there in Rankin County, in Hinds County, in Madison County, in the surrounding counties now know what a POS this MFR is.
Yeah, and I think that part is good. I also think the alternate story could have been Hector Custode pulls out weapon, shoots everybody in dealership.
That didn't
Like
happen.
that, but it could have easily happened, and it's happened in other cases. That is the problem with what he did. Because it's happened. There's a record of it happening, and that could easily happen. And that's why I'm asking you about a week ago. What was the difference where he could have contacted law enforcement to be there, other than Easter weekend? He probably had enough evidence a week ago to do it.
You can't say that he probably did. You don't know that.
Oh, maybe you're right. We can ask him that. Maybe he
we
did.
can ask him
maybe,
that.
But
we can ask him that.
But it was enough of an exigent circumstance. I don't believe that was the reason he did it. Like on that Friday, I think he just wanted to do that because it was good for the internet.
Well, you keep saying that. Yeah, there are a lot of people around here that do a lot of things for clicks and only for clicks. They say a lot of things just for clicks. Now, we know some of those people. This man is not being paid from this. He has a full-time job doing something else. This is something he is doing in his free time just to bring awareness to the situation. I'm sorry, I applaud him for it.
I applaud the effort in terms of the actual setup. I don't applaud the encounter. I don't applaud that at all. I feel like that could have been handled completely differently. And I think next time it's going to get out of hand because you don't know what's in people's minds, as it has for a lot of these groups. That's my concern. The next question, from that really is the case worked up good enough for a likely conviction? And I think that, I don't know. I'd have to look at what they've got.
I know about the Bramlett. I know.
Well, he's going to have to look at evidence correctly too. I'm just saying, I don't know what it is.
But I believe the evidence is there, and I do not believe that Bubba Bramlett, who is the DA in Madison and Rankin County, is going to ignore this. I just don't see that happening.
I'm not talking about ignoring it. I'm talking about from a prosecutor's perspective. Is the evidence built up in a way that law enforcement would have built it up if it was done correctly? Are you going to have a likely conviction? Now, Rankin County is a county where it is, these are convictions, to be honest with you. But I would, those are questions I ask. Is he going to have some sort of entrapment defense? It's a possibility. I don't know that. I haven't looked at the text messages. I don't know that. I'm just saying there's a lot of things out there that, because this organization were not law enforcement officers, that become potential issues.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Shaun, but I'm sorry. Obviously, we don't have enough law enforcement out there doing this type of work and getting these people exposed the way they should be and bringing them to justice. Because,
well, I mean, that's for sure. I mean, we don't have enough law enforcement to stop all the murders in Jackson either, right? I mean, all those.
No, we don't have enough school security to keep kids safe in every single school district across the country.
Yeah,
that takes money. That takes money.
Look what just happened at FSU.
Exactly, that takes money, and it takes lawmakers wanting to give enough money to those issues.
Right.
So there's never going to be enough. And so I'm all for someone being willing to take their precious time and want to expose people that are this sick in the head. This man is sick in the head. Like, if you want to go and meet a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old for sex, then you have a big problem.
Yeah, I have no dispute with that. You have a big problem. If you want to go have sex with a 15-year-old, you're 45 years old or 30 years old.
With your man boobs.
Yeah, what that guy, I mean, yeah, he was.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm so heated about this. He was a softie
for sure. Yeah, he obviously has problems. But that backs up my point. These people that want to have sex with children are sickos. We all agree with that. What could a sicko do? Well, he could pull out a gun and shoot everybody. That could happen. And Bryce isn't prepared to handle that situation. That's my.
How do you know that?
Is he armed there? Is he trained to do this? I mean, does he have backup there ready? If there's a hostage situation?
Do you know that? Do you know?
Did I see any backup? Did he claim to you that he had any backup?
We did not go into detail about that. We talked for about 20 minutes last night. We talked about how he started doing this and how far he's come with it. We did not go into those details, but we will definitely go into that tomorrow when he's on air. And I'm sure he can answer these questions when he calls in and he's live talking with us.
I mean, I'm saying, I'd like to know, did he have a plan for a potential hostage situation?
I'm sure he's thought of that. I don't think he would be going into these.
Well, he didn't think to call law enforcement, so I don't know that.
No, you don't know that. You do not know that. He actually went to law enforcement after he left the dealership. And by the way, I know a lot of people are defending the dealership, and look, I'm with you. The dealership does not deserve to be brought down in this, and he has said that as well numerous times. But what I do want to know is, where is the public post from the dealership saying, we didn't know this guy was a sexual predator, now we do. We have released him from being an employee here. Where is that? That's what I want to see.
Well, that's my next question, though. Why did he confront him at the dealership and not just go to his house?
Well, maybe because that was the safest thing to do.
Because it was the safest thing why was it the safest thing? Why was it the safest thing?
But because he was in a public place.
Oh, that's right. He was in a public place. So he was worried about his safety if he went to his house because
I mean, no, wait a minute, Sean. He's been to numerous people's houses.
Okay.
Go back and watch his videos.
Well,
He's
then
been to lots of different houses.
why did he have to go to his job? He could have gone to his house.
Maybe he wanted the dealership to know they had a freaking pedophile.
I mean, I'm sure they would have found out once everybody saw it on Facebook.
Well,
so.
they still haven't said anything about the fact that they fired the man.
If he was live
Have
streaming,
they even fired him? Do we know?
I have no idea. I'm just saying if he'd live streamed
Fowler GMC, have you fired this man? Because we want to know. People want to know.
if he'd live streamed it at his house, they would have found out, I'm pretty sure.
With
So he didn't have to go to the business. He didn't have to jeopardize all the employees, all the customers. He didn't have to do that.
I think wanted to make a point of the fact that we are putting our children, people going in even to buy a car, they're putting their children in the line of sight of a sexual predator.
And he put them all at risk of potential mass shooter. I mean, that's what he did.
We're all in the potential of being around a mass shooter day in and day out. Our kids are in the potential of that when we send them to school. Do not say that could happen any given point in time without the
Especially when you
situation.
just destroyed some guy's life and he's crazy
Well,
already.
he deserves his life destroyed.
Well, yeah,
He
especially
deserves to be destroyed.
when he's crazy and he can
Honestly.
easily do that.
I mean, his life deserves to be destroyed. Sorry, not sorry.
Well,
As a mama of a 15-year-old, F you. I don't even know your Hector, whatever your name is. F you.
Hector Custode.
Hector Custode.
And he's a
Go to hell.
too. Yeah.
Go to hell.
You see what I did with folks? I mean, it's just, something else.
This is I'm sorry. This is not a thing I play around with. These are kids.
And I don't play around with people's lives and untrained people
Do
doing
you
that.
think a child's life matters?
Of course, I
A
did I say that.
15-year-old
Did I say
being
that?
sexually groomed.
Did I say it didn't matter?
Being-
No, I said there's a responsible way to do something and an irresponsible way to do
Okay.
something.
And if you can't get anyone to help you in the responsible
He
way,
never
what do you do?
contacted law
You
enforcement
don't
to do
know
that.
that.
You told me that he did.
No, I said I don't know.
You don't know. So he may have. So we've got a record of him going to law enforcement and they knew about it and they didn't do anything. So are we gonna find that out tomorrow?
Yeah,
That's
we'll
what-
find that out tomorrow.
So he didn't contact law enforcement, what would be your opinion then?
I still think this mother effer deserved to be exposed.
So you
Regardless.
don't think he should have contacted law
I
enforcement?
think he should have tried. I don't know that he didn't. We can find out for sure. But if he did and they didn't want to help, what's he supposed to do? Just forget about the fact that this.
That's a fair point. I'm not disputing that. That's not a fair point.
We will definitely find that
That's
out.
a fair point because he knows about a potential child molester or child predator or whatever you want to call it.
So what do you
At
do?
that point, it's, that's a very good question. What do you do? I don't want to go to the dealership. I would go to the guy's house. I want to put the other people at risk. If you're willing to go, you're going this far, you're doing this for such a just cause, and you're willing to put your life on the line, that's great. Respect you for that. But then you do not need to subject other people to being hurt. And that is my problem.
What about other parents that bring the kids into that dealership?
If he had gone to the guy's house, he still would have done the same thing, exposed him just the same way. He didn't have to go to the business. That's what I'm saying. He could have gone to the guy's house. Could easily
What if
gone
he
to the
couldn't
guy's
find his address? What if he only knew where he was? We don't know these.
I'm
We
sure
don't
when he
know
was
these.
texting him,
We
like,
will find out.
when he was texting him, spank me and choke me, I'm sure he got his address.
We will
I
find
mean, I'm
out
sure
the
he could have
answers
got that.
to these questions.
What's your
Right now,
address,
we don't
Hector?
know the answers to these questions.
What's your address? What's your home address, Hector? I'm going to beat you and tie you up.
Wait,
Yes, I'm sure he got it.
No, Hector was the one wanting to do the tying up and the beating.
I'm sure that
Disgusting
I'm sure
mother
Hector
effer.
would have given the fake 15-year-old his address. I don't think it would have been out
Disgusting.
yet.
What a disgusting
But he
piece
would have.
of
But you can't answer that. Why didn't you go to the guy's house?
He needs to be under the jail. He should be burnt to the stake.
Can you answer that? Why did he not go to the guy's house?
I don't know. We can ask him. I don't know that he knew the guy's address. To be
I'm just
honest.
saying how easily it would have been for him to
No,
get it.
you say that, but you don't know. This guy, do you really think he was going to give somebody his home address?
The girl he's texting, he would have. Of course he would have. He wanted to have sex with
Okay.
her.
No,
He's
yeah,
just
but he was
sick of-
gonna go pick her up. He wouldn't. I was gonna go meet her on a Sunday. Sundays were his only day off. He said that over and over and over.
Well, she could. He's
I
like,
have
where
no
do you
sympathy.
live? I'm coming to your house, Hector. And you were like, here you go.
No sympathy.
I mean, how did he find out where he worked? He asked him where he worked, I'm sure. I'm sure the fake 15.
I don't know what their conversations were. He's got them all. We can ask him tomorrow. He's got all the
Yeah, I mean, I'd like
conversations.
to know that. I mean, I'm just saying why, but I saw him make a post saying that he did it for his safety. He did it
Okay,
for
I
his
didn't see that
safety.
post.
He did not regard anyone else's
Oh,
safety.
okay. Where did you see that post? Because I haven't seen that one.
I forget where I saw it.
Oh, really? Because I haven't seen that. So let me look and
He
see.
said he did it for his safety.
He said that on a post.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
Because I haven't seen that.
that's what I read. And
You read it from him?
Yeah. He wrote, he said, I did it for my staff to do. I think there was actually Chris Gordon, it was a reply to one of his comments, as that's what I remember it was. So,
Oh, well, I don't see anything of that sort on his page.
well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I saw it and I'll find it and I'll find it for tomorrow. But he said it was in regards to his safety, is what I saw. And you can ask him that if that's what he said. I mean, if
Oh,
you don't
well,
believe
we
me.
will definitely ask him, and that's fine. I believe wholeheartedly that as a mom of a 15-year-old, I'm thankful that a child predator is exposed.
Let's assume that what I'm saying is correct and
No,
that
we're not going to assume anything. Let's just assume that this man Hector this had not been a fake child, and he had raped her.
that's not
That's just
that's
a
not
lit-
what I'm saying.
no,
Let's assume I'm talking about the issue about him saying that he went to the dealership for his own safety. You're talking about Bryce saying that. That's what I'm okay, that issue. So he was worried about his own safety, but not the other people's safety.
I think he's doing a lot of things, putting his own life on the line to expose child predators.
But he,
So
that's fine, but he was worried about his safety, but he wasn't
no.
worried about the other people in the
I
dealership
think he's
safety.
worried about his safety. I've seen him go up to doors of these predators. I've seen him go. He's been on a boat. Okay, obviously you haven't watched all his videos. I have. He's gotten out on a boat with one of these people. He has gone to their front doors. He's doing this because he's obviously concerned and he wants to expose them. He's putting his life on the line.
I'm not saying he's not concerned. I'm not
Numerous times.
I'm not judging that at all. I'm not saying that he's not doing the right thing.
No, but to say
I'm saying that he did not take into account other people's
no,
safety.
you said he was concerned. Yeah, I can.
Really? You don't think people were in jeopardy in that dealership?
You just said that he cared about his own safety and no one else's. You're wrong.
Okay. So he went to the dealership and he just didn't think about that some people possibly could get killed.
Well, obviously he cared about the safety of innocent children in that area.
He did. I didn't say that.
Obviously he
didn't say that he didn't. I did not say that.
he knows that he's putting his life on the line and in jeopardy
Right.
walking into a situation like that.
Sure.
But he feels the
And
need
other
to
people's.
expose it.
And other people's. And other people's.
I disagree.
He didn't. Oh, you don't think he put anybody's life in jeopardy by trying to do that?
I think that he was prepared for that.
How?
We'll ask him tomorrow.
How was he prepared?
We'll ask him tomorrow. You'll be able to ask him all these questions live tomorrow.
I'd love to.
But I'm not going to be on the camp on your side saying that like he shouldn't have done this, because I feel like we need more people doing this. We need more people exposing sexual predators, because there's too many out there that are preying on our children day in and day out.
And I agree, we need more people doing this in conjunction with law enforcement.
Groomers, hashtag
In
groomers.
conjunction with law enforcement. Properly, there's a procedure. They can do this,
Well,
but they have to work in conjunction with law enforcement.
Seems like law enforcement's not doing the job quick enough.
Well, they can still do their job, these groups, and work in conjunction. Like you said, he has before. They can do that.
Do you think if he had worked coincidingly with law enforcement and they had done this together, do you think the amount of people would know about it as dude tonight, as the amount of people that know about it right now?
No, but I think
Right.
Mr. Custody would be, he's not arrested, by the way. So he'd be in custody.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't.
He's not
He
arrested.
can't show his face anywhere.
He's not arrested, but he'd
He
be
can't
arrested
show his
if law
face.
enforcement was involved. He would be under arrest currently and in jail waiting on a bond if law enforcement, and he's not right now.
Well,
He is
they
not
have
right now.
plenty to arrest him, by the way.
They have not, though.
Yeah, well, they have plenty. So what? So I guess everyone should call Rankin County law enforcement and say, "What are you doing? Why you have the evidence? Why you've
If
seen
law
the
enforcement
evidence?
was involved in the operation, he would
Okay,
be
they
arrested.
have the evidence. The law. You posted the law earlier today. They have the evidence. Why haven't they arrested him?
You have to ask them. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
well, I will definitely
if,
ask
if
them.
they were involved in the sting, he'd be under
It
arrest.
doesn't matter if they're involved or not. They have the evidence, Sean.
Just telling you.
You told me. You said what the law does.
I
But
said
they
the
have,
law is a fake kid is just as much as a real kid. Like
and they
that's
have
the law
that.
is.
They have that.
Okay, well,
Even if he didn't turn it into them, they've seen it online.
I'm just telling you, he is not under arrest at this time. He is out
So
there.
Rankin County, what you doing?
Well, I mean, that's fine. That's a fine argument to make.
Go get him.
But
Go get him.
he, if he had worked in conjunction with law enforcement, he'd be under arrest.
He should be under the jail. Period.
Okay, that's fine. That's not my argument at all. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, if you work in the proper manner, this would be different.
What I find funny by you saying that, Sean, is that they still have the evidence.
Sure.
They still have it.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether he worked with them or not, they have it. They have the evidence to arrest him. Why is he not arrested?
You'd have to ask the law enforcement authorities in Rankin County. I have no idea.
Why has that dealership not come out and said, "Hey, we have fired this person. We didn't know what a scumbag he was. Now we do."
Again, that would be a question for the dealership. I have no idea.
Okay, well, okay, dealership. Okay, Rankin County, what are you doing? There's a childhood predator out there. You've seen it. It's been exposed. You know it. Why is this man not paying for his crime? Come on.
Well, I mean, I think he's probably going to pay quite a bit. It seems like it.
Well, he deserves every bit of it.
Yeah, and
I
I'm
have
not.
no sympathy.
And again, I'm not saying. See, you're making all these emotional arguments, and I'm not disagreeing with. I'm just talking about practicalities. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say.
I can't be practical when it comes to 15-year-old
Well, but the
children.
law is practical. Like you have to do things in a proper manner. You can't just. It's not. We're not.
But
it's not martial law.
But Shaun, you just explained what the law is, and I just said they've got all the evidence to back up what the law is. Why is he not arrested?
That I can't tell you. I don't know why. I mean, they have. It seems like they have probable cause for arrest.
Absolutely.
So I mean, they
He
can't.
should be in the jail right now. He should be under the jail, to be honest.
But,
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's a good thing it wasn't my 15-year-old, because I tell you what, I would be. Shaun would have.
you go all Sam Jackson and Samuel Jackson, right? Let's
I can't even
you can see
explain.
the heat off of her right now.
So Shaun, he thinks I'm getting mad at him, and I'm really not.
This is what it seems like. He gets mad at me because I make a counter argument here, and it's like, and I'm not even disagreeing with pretty much anything you're saying, except the manner in which it was handled.
But
Like that's it.
I'm not even mad at you about any of it. I'm just angry at the fact that anyone thinks that exposing someone so shitty, excuse my language, is wrong. I mean, expose that mess. Everybody expose that mess if you have it. It needs to be exposed. Parents need to know.
It does. In the proper.
I dare you to touch my 15-year-old, because I tell you what, you will.
I know you would. I know you would. I'm just saying it needs to be handled, and if it was, people will be safe. Any likely conviction will result, and that's the way things are handled. So,
yeah,
that's the size of it. So, but I mean, obviously, Mr. Custode's life is pretty much over at this point. I mean, he's on his bad boat. I've had so many people text me and say, like, I've got 1,000 mutual friends, and you've said the same.
I had 78, and I was disgusted.
Yeah, and he just and
he had like 50.
Yeah, like 50, and like he had like all these tennis photos and stuff, and I was like, oh god.
I have a young son. I'm like, bless.
It's like, dude, like, what was it about? Now for me joking, I went into law and give you all that, but here I'll joke. Like, I don't get like what it is about dudes. And I mean, because like I think there's like I prosecuted a lot of different people for sex crimes over the years, and there's like what I always call there's like these group of guys that like molest kids, right? Like there's a 4 or 5, and they do that, but they're different than the custodians. The custodians like minor girls that are like of age, but they're not like necessarily. Yeah, they're not necessarily the same thing. It's weird. At least based on, and this is anecdotally, but this is based on my experience.
You're not like defending them.
No, absolutely not. No, I'm just saying like there's different classes of child predators. You know what I mean? There's like the dudes that like molest like grade school kids, which that shit is fucking crazy, right? I mean, and then it's crazy too with the 15-year-old. And then there's like the custodes. There's the custodes that like the young girls. Oh, no, I'm just saying there's like different classes. Like custode probably ain't gonna hook up with a 5-year-old, but he'll do a 15-year-old. Yeah, it's weird.
That's the same to me.
I mean, it's the same.
It's the same to me.
Again, I'm not
touch my 5-year-old or my 15-year-old.
I'm just saying,
I'll
like,
cut your dick off and kill you.
It's just weird, like how that.
I'd be happy to go to jail for
the
it.
Differential between that. But my point where I was going with this was like I just don't know what like I think the kid guys like molesting the 5-year-olds have like a different kind of disease. Like they're just like the sickest of sick. You know what I mean? And the 15-year-old like that like young girls like I don't know what even when I see a 21-year-old girl, I'm 45, and so I'm like that was like a high school kid to me at this age. You know, I mean,
our friend Representative Fred Shanks had a bill this past session about castration. He's bringing it back next session. I'll tell you what, every single parent out there that has seen this and has been discussed about it needs to call the legislature and say, we want Fred Shanks' castration bill passed.
Wait, you want to castrate Fred
I
Shanks?
want to castrate not Fred Shanks. Stop it, Shaun. Don't do that.
Fred, did you hear that?
Yes, Fred. I love you, Fred. No, I want to castrate every single mother ever out there that has the freaking nerve to attempt to speak to a 14-year-old or 15-year-old or 5-year-old for that matter in a sexual way. You know what? You deserve to die. You should be put to death, in my opinion. I would hang them on the street.
We know you would. So
don't let the mama bear come out in me. I swear.
So so I mean, it's just there's just all these different classes of sex predators, and it's crazy to me how that how somebody you wouldn't think is like into young girls. Like it's just a strange thing. I don't know. I mean, I prosecuted many of them over the years, and the worst experience I've ever had, though, this is the one that I still remember it, is interviewing like a 6-year-old about their molestation. I mean, I'm telling you, it's tough. It is really tough.
That makes me want to vomit.
It's pretty hard. I've interviewed rape victims, other things too, but that was one of the worst experiences I ever had. Was like I remember this case, a 6-year-old, and just talking to the 6-year-old about like how like getting a kid that age to explain what happened to them, and
that makes me want to vomit, and that breaks my heart, and that's why I don't care how these people are exposed. I just want them exposed. Every last freaking one of them, I want them exposed, and I expect any law enforcement agency in that county or city and any business employing someone like that, once it is exposed, I expect them to speak out and do what's right. Every last one. There's no.
I think, I would assume that Fowler GMC, which has been a staple in this community for 60 years, by the way, is going to make a statement. They're going to have to.
Well, they should have already done it, in my opinion. As a mom, they should have already done it. They've had over 48 hours at this point.
I'm sure they will. It seems like they probably were bamboozled by a lot of this stuff. It just kind of hit them on Friday afternoon, Easter weekend.
And I completely understand them not. I don't give them any grace. It's fine. I understand them not knowing what to say at that point. Like when they called the boss on the phone and he was like,
what was he going to say?
Right. No, I don't blame. Now, I saw a lot of people in the comments blaming them, saying, oh, they're just so nonchalant about it. Now, they didn't know if this was a joke or they had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, how would you know what was going to go on?
I completely understand.
And all the Google reviews that people attack them.
I have all the grace in the world for them at that point. But it has been 48 hours. And from what I understand, they're worried about other things rather than speaking to the community and making a public statement and saying, hey, we have released this person. We've terminated him. We had no idea we had a sexual predator working for us. Now we do. Now he's no longer employed. I want to see that. I want to see that immediately. Where is it? Well, Fowler.
We'll see. I bet they have a statement tomorrow.
Well, it should have happened before tomorrow, but
Again, it's the Easter weekend. I could see it. They were kind of caught blindsided. It's just one of those things.
I mean, I'm sorry, you're a business owner and you have something like this happen. You don't get to say it's Easter. You don't get to take a break from it. You don't get to say that. You have to say this was wrong.
Yeah, well,
that's my opinion.
I think they'll probably release a statement tomorrow or something. I mean, I'm sure they've got to do something. I mean, they can't just be silent. I mean, they're not going to, especially for their continued viability of their business. I would assume that they've got to respond to this correctly. It's a.
I would hope it's correct.
And I want to say this too. You can't fault them of hiring. How are they going to know?
No, of course. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying now they do. No, they don't.
They do. And all you want them to do is now release statements saying we abhor this, and I'm sure they will. I mean, I'm sure they're going to do that. I don't think they're just like pro child molester. I mean, I don't think they're that. They're just completely caught off guard. Their business has been severely negatively impacted by all this. They got attacked Friday night with tons of negative Google reviews on something that they had nothing to do with.
Which is why I think there should have been a statement Saturday morning.
Well, maybe there should have been, and that was an error on their part. And but they got hit unfairly because they didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, well, they've made that comment numerous times. The organization that put the video out has said numerous times the organization, the people who employed this guy didn't know. They had nothing to do with it.
How could you know? I mean, you don't know, that's some wackadoodles doing that works for you. Like, I don't think anybody on the job application is like, guess what? I like little girls. Like, nobody does that. Like, can you imagine in the application? Interest, little young girls. Yeah, you're not gonna get a job. Like, that's the way that would work. I mean, I don't think
I would pull a Donald Trump. You're fired.
Yeah, you're fired. Or you're not getting employed. I mean, it's just not on the application for them to know that. And if he didn't have any prior convictions, they wouldn't know about it.
No, of course not. And nobody would fault them for that.
I mean,
again, like I said, I fault them for not saying something before now. I do not fault them for hiring the man or not knowing what he was doing behind closed doors. They have no way of knowing that. No one does.
No, by all outward appearances, you look at his Facebook, he was a big into the tennis scene around town. Looked like he was
a doting father.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know that he was.
Which is sick in and of itself.
Into the stuff he was into, if you read the text messages, it was
gross.
I mean, it was it's pretty rough stuff there, especially when applied to a fake minor or what he thought to be a real minor.
Could have very well been a real minor.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I don't think he thought it was.
And, yeah, exactly. And how do we know that's the only one? There could have been numerous others.
I mean, it's probably on his first rodeo with this.
Gross.
Because Dode was
So I just don't even know what you're about to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like he's just, yeah, I don't think it was his social media. I'm sure, yeah, it wasn't. You know, but I mean, I'm sure everybody's eager to see how this case progresses, and there's been such a divided. I think the one thing everybody isn't divided on is the fact that this guy sucks. I mean, I think everybody agrees with that. Like, he's obviously a child predator, and everybody's glad.
Hector, go to hell.
And everybody's glad that he's been caught in that regard. It's just the methods that everybody's disputing and the business effect of the business, and I think those are legitimate debates.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Anyway, well, we're going to sign off from Sunday night, and we will be back tomorrow.
Sounds like I'm never coming live on Sunday night with her.
I mean, well, it's my idea. I really wanted to talk about this because people have been asking me about, the biggest question has been about the law in terms of a fake minor and how you can and yes, it is in the statute.
It's still the law.
Still the law. And there also, I did want to clear up some of the confusion about the story about the grandmother, which is not accurate. That's not an accurate story. Bryce did create, which is what he does. I have no problem with him doing this, by the way. So it's not an aspersion on him, like creating fake minors on dating app profiles.
Keep your hands in your little box. Okay.
Yeah, my little box.
They keep going to my box.
It's over this box. There's no issue. Law enforcement does this. I mean, it's not something that they don't do. I don't have a problem with Bryce doing it, creating these fake dating profiles and making a fake minor. I mean, the person's intent is still the same, whether the
maybe I'll start doing this.
Yeah, you go ahead.
My free time that I have.
Please don't. I mean, let's.
Maybe I'll sit up.
I'm not going on the sting. I'll tell you, I ain't doing that. But so I had a problem.
Take your handgun with me.
Yeah.
For backup.
So I've got a problem with people doing that. I think that's the intent's the same on the suspect's part.
Keep kids safe.
But I think there was a confusion about whether that was the law or not, and it is. Like, fake doesn't matter; you're still guilty. Though, but I do want people to understand that there was not a real child involved. So we're clear.
Yes, there was not. Thank God.
Thank God. I mean, but there was not. And there's been a lot of confusion as to what.
I mean, there very well could have been other children he was talking to that we don't know about.
Right.
Obviously.
But in this instance, there was no real actual child. It was a fake child.
What's so funny is that every single video I've watched of theirs, it's like this older, overweight man who obviously can't get a real date in life, and like, why did they think a 14 or 15-year-old girl is going to be interested in them anyway?
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't think about it.
I
don't know. I've never hit on a 15-year-old girl, so I don't know.
Thank God. I mean,
I don't know if that works. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where that comes up. Yeah, but I mean, I don't even know where that comes up. I guess a good point. I never thought of that. What are the like some
they have to know this
like we're like 45, like the 15-year-old's gonna be into me, right? I didn't think about that.
So gross.
I didn't think about that. But I mean, obviously they're not really thinking about that kind of stuff.
I was thinking with a different head.
Well, they're also nuts. I mean,
they're mentally ill and deserve to be exposed.
Yeah, I mean, so like they're probably not. They're like, oh, I mean, in their mind, they're like, oh yeah, the 15-year-old's into me. I got money or something.
Ew.
I mean, I can't. It's hard to unpack crazy. I try to do it on my daily life all the time.
Please.
So
Please.
It's hard to do that.
Whatever. You're so full of it.
Anyway, but yeah, we're gonna have Bryce on. We're gonna debate this with him and tomorrow, and you kind of get some of his insight to what he did and those things, and see whether you agree with his message or not. We're gonna discuss all.
And look, I'm thankful for his communication. I mean, I messaged him, and immediately as soon as I saw that this had gone viral, and we watched it, and actually we were arguing about Katy Perry going to space, and we won't even get into that. We all know she didn't go to space.
Don't get into that.
We don't. Okay, whatever. We all know 11 minutes. Okay, whatever. Anyway, we were arguing about that when this came up, and everyone saw it, and I'm just thinking, thank God somebody's out there exposing it all.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and I immediately messaged him on Messenger. He messaged me back almost immediately and said, "Hey, it's been a long day. Let me call you tomorrow." He did. He called me last night. We talked. And I'm just thankful he's willing to talk about it.
And look, and I don't want him to think that I'm knocking. Maybe he is a noble guy, and like he's trying to do the right. I watched the interview with him. He seemed like a noble guy. I don't want him. I just disagree with his methods, and I have valid reasons and concerns for that, which we'll discuss with him tomorrow at between 12 and 1 p.m. on the show, and we'll get into that and discuss, those kinds of things of what he did. Did he contact law enforcement? Did he not? All those his other experiences with law enforcement, how that worked out.
And I do want to say this. I know it's Easter, but it is April 20th and it is the anniversary of Columbine. And I will never forget that day and how I felt and the scariness that it brought into students across the country. And I just pray for those people that were there that day at Columbine. And I hope that, they have not felt the pain of that on this Easter Sunday.
Yeah, me too. I still remember that. I was in, I think it was like sophomore year in college when that happened. I remember.
I mean, I was much younger.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're younger. You're not underage younger though. So.
No, I absolutely am not.
Yeah, you're over 40. So
I'm not over 40. I am 40.
Almost 41.
I was 39 until September.
Yeah. So anyway, so we'll talk about Bryce Beyond. We'll catch you all tomorrow between 12 and 1. Please tune in. Share this if you can, or do all that stuff people say. And we've actually uploaded the show to the podcast, but it's still not uploading.
Well, I mean,
I fixed it sort of. So hopefully that'll be fleshed out this week. So we'll see.
We'll try.
All right.
I'll stay on it.
Happy Easter. Good Sunday night.
And stay away from the sexual predators.